City Council if you are here to speak this evening during our citizens' remarks and comments. Public comments are always welcome, and I invite you to sign up if you wish to speak tonight. I will recognize those signed up during citizens' remarks section of the council's agenda. Citizens who wish to speak to council but neglect to sign up in advance may be permitted to address the council during citizens' remarks and comments agenda item, but only at the discretion of the mayor. When speaking to the city council, I ask that these guidelines be followed. One, once recognized to speak, please step forward to the podium. And for the record, state your name and if you are a resident of the city of Lexington, Virginia. If you want to be contacted after this meeting, please provide your contact information to the clerk. Please make your comments to the council as a whole and do not engage the audience. Please be brief, state your position, and provide facts. Please provide any written statements and/or supporting materials to our clerk for distribution to the council and the city manager. Debate is prohibited. This is a time for you to share your thoughts and ideas with your city council. Number 6, please speak clearly as we want to hear what you have to say. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes, and individuals may not yield their allotted time to another person. If you represent a group, 5 minutes are allotted, and you are invited to identify other members of your group who are in attendance. The council or mayor may allow exceptions to these guidelines at their discretion. I remind us all that meetings of the city council are formal proceedings and are recorded. And with that, I would like to call the Lexington City Council to order this Thursday, March 5th meeting. The first item, if you all will please stand and join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. See a lot of inquisitive young faces in our crowd, and thankful for the Washington Lee students here with journalism class or other classes or other inspirations for joining us. My name is Frank Friedman. I'm the mayor of Lexington, and the council here to my left. We're all our contact information is on the website, and if you have questions after this meeting, feel free to email or call us. We're happy to help, and glad that you're furthering your education, especially tonight in Lexington, local government. Next item of business is consideration of the agenda. I had a request from concerned citizens to move our resolution 15.1, expressing Lexington City Council's support of VMI and its cadets. And I'd like to move that to item 4.2, unless there's an objection. Hearing none, that item will be heard at that time. And otherwise, the agenda is adopted with that modification. Next item is proclamations, and would like to invite up Jennifer Palmer and to present this proclamation. Good. This is a proclamation recognizing March 2026 as Brain Injury Awareness Month. Whereas traumatic brain injury, TBI, and acquired brain injury, including stroke, represent serious public health challenges affecting thousands of Virginians and their families each year, with far-reaching consequences for individuals, families, and communities, and is the leading cause of death and disability in children and young adults. And whereas, according to the Virginia Department of Health, traumatic brain injuries account for approximately 1/3 of all injury-related deaths to Virginia residents annually. And whereas brain injury prevention is possible through education, awareness, and simple safety measures, including wearing seatbelts and helmets, practicing fall prevention strategies, and recognizing the warning signs of stroke, and seeking immediate medical attention. And whereas, because of a lack of awareness and the difficulty of diagnosing brain injury, Many persons live for years without recognizing and dealing with their injuries. And whereas individuals living with brain injury face significant barriers to recovery and community integration, including limited access to specialized services, lack of public awareness and understanding, social isolation, employment challenges, and housing instability. And whereas individuals living with brain injury possess remarkable resilience and determination, and with proper support can achieve meaningful recovery, independence, and quality of life. Whereas the organization's mission is to enhance the lives of individuals affected by brain injury, recognizing that approximately 13,000 people in the Shenandoah Valley community are affected by brain injury. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and Lexington City Council, ask the citizens of Lexington to support Brain Injury Connections of the Shenandoah Valley, Inc., a local nonprofit, in their efforts to serve brain-injured individuals. I do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Brain Injury Awareness Month in the city of Lexington and encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance, adopted this 5th day of March 2026. It's an important organization and an important message, and critical for folks that are facing challenges to get support. And there's a great team and organization here in the Valley to lend that support. So Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Any comments? Oh. Let's do that. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Any comments that you'd like to make?
Listen, I don't really have anything to say except our office is at Buena Vista and I serve Rockbridge and Bath counties. So if you ever need anything, I left some information with Kate.
Terrific.
So we've got that.
And students can reach you if need be.
Yes.
At
So my email address is jennifer@bicsb.org, but Kate's got some information that she can pass out if you need. Thank you so much for including us, and we appreciate that.
Thanks for your work.
The recognition.
Yes, as we can support your efforts, let us know.
All right. Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Jen.
Have a good meeting.
Next item is the mentioned resolution 2026-07, item 15.1, resolution in support of Virginia Military Institute.
I'll just quickly say that I have a conflict of interest. A resolution is considered a transaction apparently between two parties. And since I work at VMI, I need to state that in accordance with Virginia Code subsection 2.2-3112A and B and 3115F, I do declare I have a personal interest in this transaction, and I'll step down.
Thank you, Mr. Ziegler. The resolution was included in your package, and I would welcome council's consideration of this resolution.
You're looking for a motion of approval?
Aye.
Apparently so.
That is the idea behind the consideration of it. And with a motion and a second, any discussion?
Just glad to see this get over the finish line.
I'll just repeat what I said kind of at the start of this. VMI is important to the city of Lexington, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the United States of America.
Thank you, sir. Any others? No obligation, but the motion is second and discussion. I'd ask for a roll call vote. And Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Ms. Strawn? Mr. Betts?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Alexander? Motion carries unanimously, and I know there are members of the audience that'll be glad this was at the beginning of the meeting, but you're welcome to stay and enjoy, especially since you brought dinner. Our next item is presentations, and excited to invite Maren Williams for downtown elevation drawings. Maren, come on down.
Holy moly. Thank you.
While Maren's setting up for the benefit of you students, The proclamation you just experienced is one of the privileges that the mayor has in my role in our strong city manager form of government. With our presentations, this is a time for folks to come and address council and share information, and a chance for us to learn and reflect on the ideas that are presented to us, and considering how it may be utilized in the city. We tend not to take any action on any of these presentations, but just simply listen and learn and reflect, and may do something at a future date. With that, Maren, go right ahead. Maren, I'm going to get you for the good of the folks. Thank you, Kate.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes.
Better? Okay. Good evening. My name is Maren Williams. I am a local artist and longtime resident of Lexington. And at the end of last year, I wrapped up a project, a collaboration with the EDA that involved illustrating every single building in downtown Lexington. So I've got just a couple of background notes for you guys.
Pretty good. Sure, Sandra, what's so good?
Yeah, we're good. Okay, all right. So a little background, this collaboration came about because Camille approached Rebecca Logan at Main Street, and I'm also on staff at Main Street, just seeking some assistance figuring out a visual representation to go along with these property surveys that we have in town that they've been working off of in preparation for the fire suppression grant that the EDA has been running. So we were trying to come up with a way to kind of add to it so it's not just a spreadsheet, just to work for more people. And we had initially decided, okay, let's go for a 3D model. And that worked with my background in interior design and architecture. But it kind of evolved into a hand drawing situation because we'd be able to capture the little details and the charm of the buildings even better than if it was just a 3D model. So kind of as this project started moving, we laid out our parameters, and one of the kind of portions of this that I appreciated the most was that the EDA allowed me to retain all rights to all the drawings, especially because there were, I think, over 120 of them. So I was able to keep the rights to all of those. A little bit about the process. I started out by just taking walks around downtown and taking photos of all the buildings. After that, I'd pull them up on my laptop, get them as big as I could, and then illustrate in pencil or kind of block it in, grid it out so that I had an idea for the proportions. After that, transition into the pen, which is what the final illustrations are done in. Get those pencil lines erased, scan them all into the computer, and then since I illustrated each building separately, I would stitch them all together in Photoshop to create those blocks, since a lot of the buildings are attached to one another. And the deliverables that we ended up with. So the initial idea and the reason we did this was to create a guidebook that I gave to you guys to look through that has all of the buildings along with information about the number of street front spaces, upper residential, upper commercial, age of some of the buildings, or if they have historical names, and then a little checkbox for whether or not they have fire suppression. That as we go through the grant process and more buildings get these resources, we'll be able to check off more and more. We also have, like I said, digitally edited files of all the buildings that we can use in many other ways going forward that the city, Main Street, and the EDA all have access to. And the fun part that I got to do after the fact was create a 20 by 30 archival art print that has all of them laid out kind of by street as best I could, because some of our streets are really long. And I got them all onto one poster, and those were for sale to the community. So that's just a way for community members to enjoy all of these illustrations and kind of a cool record keeping document that was open to the public. So it was only fitting, since there are 250 of them, that the city gets to have custody of special number 250. So Tom McNeil picked out a really great frame for it and got it all protected. So this will be hanging in the new city hall once it is finished being renovated next year.
You can show all the people behind you too. Ooh, ah. Nice.
So thank you guys again for trusting me with this project. Having lived here for a really long time, it was really special for me to dig into each and every building. And I know so much about this town that I never thought I would end up knowing. So it was a really great project and I appreciate you guys trusting me with it.
Maren, a couple of questions for our journalists in particular. EDA is,
Economic Development Authority.
and correct, yes. And
It's like, and I'm like, what is the A?
Camille Miller, who's the chair of the EDA currently, commissioned this effort. So
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, Camille made the connection between myself at Main Street and the EDA for this project.
Excellent. Members of council have any questions?
This is a gift to the
Well,
city, all this work. That's
Yeah.
really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Um,
All right.
Maren, thank you for being with us and thank you for your significant talents. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
We'll give you your book back.
You guys can keep it.
That's for us.
I think
Oh,
future historians will appreciate this effort.
yes,
absolutely.
they're amazing.
Good stuff. And all that with Rockbridge County education. Good work. Next report is from Main Street Lexington in their annual report, and I'd like to invite up Executive Director Jeremy Franklin. Welcome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Friedman. Thank you to members of council for having me here tonight. Aren't those illustrations fantastic, by the way? We're very thrilled that we get to work with Mayor on a regular basis on our staff at Main Street Lexington. It's my privilege to be here tonight to provide an update about the work that MSL is doing on behalf of the city and especially for our downtown district. I want to begin, if I can. First, I need to figure out how to move the slides. All right, that'll work. So I want to begin by talking about our people. You just met our fantastic professional staff. On top of me, it's the two of us right now, but we have a phenomenal board of directors, and we recruited 6 new folks to join us for our 25-26 year. We run from July to June. We have multiple new representatives from downtown businesses, from our higher education community. We have so many new folks that we haven't even taken everyone's picture yet to get up on our website. We have a true working board. So even with the professional staff of 2, we're able to punch above our weight because of the consistency with which our board members contribute to our events, to our committee work, and to other MSL initiatives. We have multiple ex officio positions. Chuck Smith is our representative from City Council. We also have reps from the Chamber, from tourism, from our local colleges. These folks are crucial for information sharing, for ideas, and for helping us to better integrate Main Street Lexington into the Lexington and the Rockbridge community. Because we have so many new people on our board, we dedicated a good bit of time at our annual board retreat back in August to provide some orientation, some background on our organization, and then how it fits in the context of both Virginia Main Street, our state agency, and the National Main Street America Group. What you see on the screen there is Main Street America's 4-point approach. And what I wanted to do with board orientation, and I'll just briefly highlight this, is how we translate that into the work that Main Street Lexington does, because there are some nice categories and code words and everything there. But our design committee, that means improving the appearance of our downtown, beautification, cleanup projects. Economic vitality, I think, is pretty straightforward. Economic growth, the support of existing and new businesses. Organization is our engagement with volunteers and with our downtown stakeholders, including partners throughout the community. And then promotions, I think, again, relatively clear cut. Promotion of downtown is a vital place to live, work, shop, dine, stay, and play. And those words are lifted directly from our vision statement. One of the things that we are proudest of is our downtown gift certificate program. And this program just continues to shatter sales records. We had modest growth the past few years, as you can see. And then last year, an over over a third increase, a 36% increase. Part of that can be attributed to two very large purchases. We're very grateful that the city manager's office purchased $7,800 in our downtown gift certificates as Christmas and holiday gifts for city employees, reinvesting money in our local economy. We also did a big purchase for the Kappa Alpha convention. Even if you take away those two numbers, though, we went over 70,000 for the first time. I'm not going to beat these numbers into the ground, but two more things I do want to make sure everyone is aware of with our gift certificate program. One is that cumulative number, almost $600,000 that we've kept in our local economy since the program was founded right around the time that Main Street Lexington became a thing. The other thing is that we absorb all of the administrative cost. So this is like cash for our businesses. We cover printing fees, square fees for credit card purchases, make sure that our businesses are getting the full face value of every single certificate that is redeemed downtown. Downtown beautification, it's a combination of everyday efforts to work with our fantastic public works staff, make sure that there's greenery, seasonal decorations, and so forth throughout downtown. And then larger scale projects. And obviously one of the biggest that we've ever undertaken as an organization is ongoing right now in Courthouse Square. You're going to hear from members of our executive committee that's been steering that project, I think, within the next couple of weeks, probably at the next council meeting. But we're very much excited about this project. Look forward to it being completed within the coming weeks. So we're always proud to show off our beautiful downtown by coordinating several of the huge community events throughout the year: Children's Bike Parade, Downtown Trick or Treat, lots of Christmas and holiday events, Candlelight Processional, Christmas Parade, and so forth. And there's our preliminary event calendar for 2026. We also try to pilot new events that we think would benefit our business community and our downtown. So back in October, we sponsored the inaugural Lovelex VA Bar Crawl. We had participation from 13 different bars and restaurants downtown. Over 80 people took part in the event. And one of the best things for us, going back to our small professional staff and working board, this event was planned with extensive help from a great volunteer team. So back on the promotion side, as we look at how we market and advertise our downtown and its constituent businesses. We continue to expand our presence on social media. We have pretty consistent growth in our audiences, both on Facebook and Instagram. We're able to reach two different groups, lots of different demographics with those two platforms. Our content schedule includes sharing posts from our downtown businesses and our stories, and we also use our social platforms to spotlight new and existing shops and restaurants. And here are some of the top performing posts on social media from this past year. Everyone loves a good Christmas shot, especially of our beautiful downtown. So you can see number 1 and number 3, Christmas and wintertime with the snow. Social media is not the only thing that we do. We provide information about our downtown and our public events through several other channels. We have a monthly email newsletter that reaches over 1,300 subscribers. We work hard to keep our website up to date. And our downtown maps, the printed maps that we do, still gain a lot of traction. We do a new version every year. Those go to the visitor center, hotels throughout the area, universities, the chamber, and you can get them at several of our downtown businesses. So it's basically a retail guide to downtown Lexington. It's a nice complement to some of the other materials that the chamber and our tourism office put together. Very pleased to welcome several new businesses into our community over the past year, including one, Rockbridge Barbell, that was downtown, moved away, and is now back in that beautifully renovated building right at the northern edge of downtown. Quite a few exciting things in the works for 2026. We expect to see up to 4 new businesses opening downtown just within the next few months, and our office is constantly fielding inquiries from people who are looking for a retail space or a restaurant space or a salon or office space downtown. So we provide resources for our businesses beyond just marketing and promotions. We do monthly merchant meetings. These sessions range from roundtable discussions, where it's just an open forum. When I took over as director, I scheduled multiple sessions for people to come in and just talk to us about what they want to see Main Street Lexington accomplish. Sometimes we do curated topics. We've done social media marketing. Back in the fall, we did Holiday Merchandising 101 to talk about both window and in-store displays and how you can make your shop look extra special for Christmas and the holidays. And these meetings are free to attend. Our board members, other volunteers often contribute their time and expertise to lead these sessions. Spring and summer sidewalk sales, annual fixture on the Main Street calendar. The mayor is very gracious in helping us display our lovely banner on the side of Cornerstone Bank. So the spring event, always in late April. The summer sale typically takes place on Labor Day weekend. Another big business promotion that we shattered some records with, our Shop Small Sweepstakes, formerly known as the Love Lex Lotto. We had 32 different downtown businesses filling out the card. Over 140 people played the game and supported our local merchants during the holiday season. We offer a signs and awnings grant for both new and relocating businesses and existing businesses whose signs are just showing wear and tear and who are ready for an upgrade. This is a simple and straightforward grant for our business owners to apply for. It's a one-page application, copy of the invoice, copy of the ARB approval letter, and then we can process a grant for them. One thing I do want to note with this program, the city in the past has provided some supplemental funding for the signs and awnings grant. However, this is currently being underwritten by a Washington and Lee community grant. So because of that, because of the generosity of WNL, we have not had to request additional money from the city in several years now. We're also the representative for our downtown business community in multiple capacities with different community stakeholders, including our city government and staff, Chamber of Commerce, our tourism office, and the universities. Our collaborative efforts include the annual Freedom Food Festival, which is set to return for a 6th year this July. We're also, in addition to getting community grants from time to time, we're very grateful for our general partnership with Washington and Lee. You all met Daisy Barone back in July when she and Diana Salazar, who was completing an internship in city manager's office, put together that report on parking wayfinding signage. We've been fortunate to keep Daisy on board as our work study during the academic year. Just heard from the other member of our professional staff, Maren Williams. So we're again very grateful for her artistic and graphic design skills. And as you know now, they're being utilized well beyond the confines of MSL. I alluded to this earlier, but we are part of state and national networks. Virginia Main Street and Main Street America provide numerous resources for our staff and board, as well as for our downtown community. Our close working relationship with our state agency gives us multiple chances every year for professional development. I know this is a 2025 annual report. That picture is actually from a month ago, but taken at the state directors retreat up in Luray. Those are the Main Street directors from our tourism region, which runs from Rockbridge County up through Winchester and across into parts of Northern Virginia. Main Street America accreditation also opens up the doors for numerous grant opportunities, both for us and for constituent businesses. And thanks in part to a scholarship from Virginia Main Street, we'll be able to attend our National Main Street Now conference in Tulsa coming up in April. So those, in addition to information that we get at those events, the opportunity to network, gain ideas from other Main Street directors and board and staff is just invaluable. We're very grateful for the continued fiscal support from the city. We do see a need to expand our organization scope, and that would mean enhancing our operating budget. Our hope is that the city funding remains constant and that the growth in our budget will come from earned and contributed revenue. So corporate sponsorships, grants, private donations, fundraising events. We've made significant progress with these efforts over the last 12 to 18 months. We look to build on this success here in 2026. I'll also note that, speaking of Virginia Main Street resources, over the next few months, several people from our organization, myself and a few board members, will be completing a fund development course with a consultant that is booked by and paid for by Virginia Main Street. So I want to express our appreciation again for your support of our organization. On a personal note, this is home for me. I came to Washington and Lee 26 years ago to go to school and never left. So this is the place that I chose to make my home. It's a very special honor to take on what I see as a very important role that benefits the livelihood of our community. So again, thank you all for your support. Thank you for your time this evening. Certainly would be happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Very good. Thank you, Jeremy. Members of council, questions?
What's the projected day for the Courthouse Square project to finish up?
I don't know that I have a date,
Okay.
an actual date,
Fair enough.
but soon, the next few weeks. Yes. Now that, knock on wood, we're beyond all the snow and ice, the progress is really picking up there.
Main Street Lexington has done a great job. I remember is the 10th anniversary where they had the
Mhm.
pictures of what storefronts look like, before and compared to what it looks like now. So Main Street Lexington has done a great job, including with the gift certificate program, and thanks for all the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, hats off to Main Street and your board, all the volunteers. It's amazing and it's about the continued vibrancy of the downtown, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And enjoyable. So thank you.
Thank you. We're just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, you didn't touch on it, but the origins of the current Main Street Lexington effort was a band of volunteers that came forward and appealed to council and got it started. So I implore the students, take note. If you're passionate about something, don't hesitate to get it started. And if you have the connection like Jeremy's had, you don't have to stay here for 26 years, but while you're here, encourage you to reach out to Main Street Lexington or something else that may speak to you, to volunteer and be a part of this community. And you mentioned the maps, which good on you all for updating them annually. My sense is with some of the domino effects downtown of businesses moving, they may have a shelf life of about 30 days. But
It's very fair. We do update the digital version more frequently and make sure that our website is up to date.
yes.
QR code on the back of the map, and that'll take you to the most recent version. So.
Excellent, excellent. And reminder, Main Street Lexington is always looking for volunteers of all ages. So members of the community that feel this speaks to you and have the same passion for our community, I encourage you to figure out a way to volunteer with Main Street Lexington. And lastly, the planters in the alleyway and also on Main Street are going to start popping in the next few weeks. Grateful for the work the team that was out there trimming those and getting them ready for the spring pop. Very grateful, and congratulations on a terrific year and terrific leadership with the team of two paid.
Thank you all.
Thanks for being with us. Next item on our agenda, 5.3, the MSA quarterly report, and I'll invite up Charles Alligood, former council member, longtime resident of Lexington, and current Lexington rep on the MSA, which is the Maury Service Authority, which is the water utility for our community. Welcome, Mr. Alligood.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. The MSA is composed of, just to expand a little bit, 5 board members, 2 from Lexington, 2 from Rockbridge County, and 1 from Buena Vista. Currently, Buena Vista doesn't receive any services from MSA, just Rockbridge County and the city of Lexington. However, that's not to say that currently the MSA is not helping Buena Vista and Glasgow. There's some aging infrastructure problems at those 2 places, and MSA has the expertise available for the time being. And we don't yet know the scope. MSA doesn't know the scope of what is going to be ultimately involved in correcting those 2 areas, but it's not budgeted at this time. And there, currently, we're in the full process of spending money, and there are several projects that are ongoing right now. One is the loop project, the water loop project, that when you drive down the bypass, you can see the digging that's happening there. And part of that job is to replace old asbestos cement pipe and deal with that, which has deteriorated over time and whatnot. And that project overall was about $4.5 million, and we're halfway into that. And the project is moving along very well, and we haven't experienced any upsets in the planning in there. And so in our modernization efforts, the projects that have been identified have been spaced out over 5-year groups of 5 years. And so you have 5 years, 10 years and 15 years, just to spread the money out a little bit. One of the things that we have to do every year is decide what the new rates are going to be. I know everybody's interested in that as well. Several months ago, about a year ago, MSA hired Davenport Company, the same one that the city uses, to help us project average rate increases. And that number is estimated currently at 8% annual rate increases for the next quite a few years in there. And the MSA workshop for beginning the determination of the new rates is set for March 13th. And so it's a public meeting. People are welcome to attend. The meeting will be at the MSA water plant on Osage Lane at 5 o'clock on that day. The more the merrier, and come with your comments. And so the 8% is projected. It's not fixed at this point. It's a matter of seeing what the actual estimates and expenses have been. And of course, we have to match that and cover that for keeping the MSA in business.
Is that both on water and sewer, 8% for each?
Yes. Yes.
And just to confirm, that's Friday at 5 PM?
It's
13th?
yes,
Okay.
by March 13th, 5 PM.
Friday, the
And I
13th.
think
Okay.
13th is Friday. Yeah. And they're at the water plant and they're as we know, the city adds a certain percentage to the MSA rates, whatever they end up being. In addition, the city has this new stormwater fee that we all can see on our bills and whatnot. So we may end up with a higher than 8% that actually shows up on bills, but MSA is going to evaluate what our rates need to be to maintain good financial condition at there. One of the projects that is happening, the process is happening, is to work on the backup water supply. When I took my membership in the board, MSA board, on the MSA board, one of the questions to me that was outstanding is we didn't have, from my observation, any backup water supply. And so the board, after discussing it, is now actively engaging and evaluating different aspects of the backup water supply. One of the items that the engineering consultants came back with a list was the Moores Creek dam and the Moores Creek water supply. And curiously, even though that's been kind of on the list to discuss for some time, the engineers ranked that dead last on the sources for the potential water backup supply for the city.
Mr. Good. How many other sites were ahead of Morris Creek? Do you know the number?
About a dozen.
About a dozen?
About a dozen. It wasn't one or two.
Okay, thank
It
you.
wasn't one or two in there. And in doing the evaluation, the engineers consulting engineers that were hired by MSA evaluated the flows and the capacity that the city needs, and Morris Creek just wasn't up there in terms of meeting those numbers. However, that's not to say that it's Morris Creek is still on the list, but it's way down the list. And so this will be probably a political conversation that's fixing to happen with regard to that. But I want to let you know where the Morris Creek dam ranked on our current list in there. And and it's at the bottom. And so the engineers that we hired, the consultants, are getting ready to do some what's called resistivity measurements in various areas of the city and county. And the purpose of that is to help determine where the best choices would be for drilling wells. And one of the items that we are evaluating as well is using backup water wells in there to do that. And so we have to drill some test wells and see what certain flows are, see if they meet the needs that are specified for MSA water supply. And so that is in a process of happening. None of the resistivity has occurred just yet, but it's getting really close to happening there. Let's see. One of the things with regard to the budgeting, the modernization money, the roughly $60 million spread out over the 15 years or so, just want you to know that none of that money was dedicated to dealing with the PFAS, the PFAS contamination. Currently, our water supply doesn't pass the threshold for being of concern by the feds in terms of our water supply. That's not to say that standards won't change over time, but at this time, it hasn't changed. But there are conversations happening all over the country, in particular Virginia, with regard to removing PFAS. It's a filtering exercise to do that. And some of those estimates for MSA are multi-millions again, and none of those dollars are included in the modernization dollars for the work that's currently going on. So this would be, if it comes to pass, in addition to, which obviously would raise rates more than we have there. Make a note here. The different projects that we're having. I mentioned the water loop project, and we're approximately, I mentioned the 4.5 million. We've spent roughly half of it, a little bit more than half of it at this point. And we hope to see that job end soon. And in the case of the engineering work that's happening, we've spent 67%. We have to do PER, preliminary engineering reports, to go after money to demonstrate that we know what we're talking about and what our dollar needs are, and what the particular projects are that have to be specified quite in detail. And this is done by the engineers to do that. Additionally, additional engineering work in developing the hydraulic model. One of the things that didn't exist for MSA is it's from an engineering standpoint, a hydraulic model that models all the flows in the system and where the bottlenecks are, identifying the bottlenecks, so that those particular bottlenecks can be addressed when the time is right. We'll know where they are, and it won't be by speculation. It's an engineering exercise to do that, and that's ongoing at this time, and there to do that. And that project is about 1/4 of the way done right now. And the last project is more engineering for gathering work on evaluating the existing backup water supply potential sources there. And that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, water and disposal of wastewater are critical elements to our community, and we're grateful for your service on the MSA and the update. Don't know if council members have any questions.
Mr. Alligood, do you have any further insight to why Morris Creek was placed last on that list? It's okay if you don't, but if you did have.
It's the volume of flow and the cost of connecting that Moores Creek water source to the water treatment plant, which involves laying many, many thousands of feet of pipe. The estimates were in the millions, and the others that are higher on the list, I mentioned that Morris Creek is way down on the bottom of the list. The others are much less costly.
And then, is that something MSA had budgeted for? Did they had MSA budgeted for connecting any of this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something that would increase increase rates potentially for?
Yes, of course. Since it wasn't budgeted already, and the scale of the dollars involved would necessarily increase rates. At this point, the MSA is not encouraging developing that Morris Creek water source, but again, as I mentioned earlier, this could be a political issue.
Understood.
And we don't know how that's going to play out, but it's, let's say it happens and we have to use Morris Creek in there for the backup water supply. It would be
Costly.
It would be very costly, and it wouldn't be economic compared to the other water source items that were higher on the list.
And who compiled that? Who came up with that list?
The engineer, our consultant engineers, the CHA is the company, and so they were the ones.
So
compile it.
independent engineers.
Independent, yes, not MSA didn't do it. We were looking for information to see where we stood, and we weren't certain 100% that the Morris Creek Dam would be at the bottom of the list. We didn't know where it was going to be, and we didn't know until we saw the report. And when we saw the report, for the other choices in there, it makes sense not to spend millions of dollars if you can do it for half that, say.
And you
Thank
don't
you,
get
sir.
the flow you need, is what you said before.
And say,
And you don't get the flow that you need from Morris Creek.
that's right.
So,
So
That's right.
what
Combination.
what flow are you looking for the alternate water supply?
The average daily, to be able to meet the average daily flow for the city, for the water plant for 30 days.
So right now we're using
Because it's going to be backup water supply.
right.
Yeah, and we anticipate that it won't become the 100% water supply. It'll be backup. And we have had certain instances in the last year where MSA water supply, drinking water supply, was on the edge of running out. We had some upsets at the plant, equipment breakage and replacement, and it was touch and go for a while, but fortunately we were able to keep going. But it raised the flag on what would happen if we did run out of water.
So we're pumping out what, 2 million gallons a day?
I think it's 1.5.
Okay, so you're looking for an alternative water supply that's going to cover half of that.
That's right.
Okay, that's the answer I was trying to get to. So you're looking for anywhere from 3/4 to a million gallons a day of alternate water supply.
Right, and Morris Creek didn't come up on the list. on
Right.
that,
Okay, thanks.
in there to do that.
Mr. Elgin, if I remember from a previous conversation, the search for or the need to identify backup sources of water is not just unique to MSA. It's a state mandate or state directive, if I remember correctly?
Not
Not necessarily?
not necessarily.
Okay, my mistake this time.
The directives from the state at this point have to do with the quality of the water, not the volume of the water. In fact, we're concerned when MSA is concerned when withdrawal permits from the river are reevaluated, we might even lose permitted capacity from that, which would mean a stronger incentive for having additional backup supply that wouldn't be backup as much as be part supply for it there. But that hasn't happened yet. And there it is.
Always a good practice to conserve water and not use it any more than you need to. So brushing your teeth, turning the water off, and other not leaving the hose running and things of that nature.
Right. And just consider, I know it's obvious, how vital that MSA system is to this area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The lifeline. Thank you for being with us. And again, thank you for your service on the MSA. And we'll look forward to seeing you next quarter.
You're
Or
welcome.
Mary Beth. Mary
Be
Beth.
the alternate one there.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is item 5.4, Spotswood redevelopment proposal. I'd like to invite up Peter Sills. Peter, welcome. And for, again, the benefit of the students while we're firing this up, there's a piece of property on Spotswood Drive, which is near Rah and the hospital, and a little over 2 acres that the city owns that we've targeted that we would like to develop. And Mr. Sills has apparently been studying that property and is here tonight to provide us with an opportunity.
Hello,
Good evening. Welcome.
thank you. My wife and I have lived in Lexington. My wife and I have lived in Lexington for 43 years now and happily living here. Our activities here in Lexington have mostly been around construction and development. And probably the largest project we've done here in this town has been the Lyric Residences, which we did, I would say 15, 20 years ago, something like that. And that was a major project. Another project that I'm proud of is I rebuilt the Rockbridge County Jail and turned that into an office building for actually Kappa Alpha at the time. I'm interested in this particular piece of property because I think it's essential for the development of the downtown and for the city itself to be, I would love to see the project developed responsibly. And in order to do that, I actually went and designed a whole project there with some coaching from Mr. Carroll, but mostly just like to see if I could do it and see what I could come up with. And what I came up with was basically the maximum number of units, I think, that can be located on the property responsibly is 12 units altogether, totaling approximately $5 million worth of real estate. It's possible that you've heard other numbers from other people, but I believe that this is the correct number. And if you take a look, this is a possible project here that is in front of you, which I've designed. It's 2 buildings that are 4 units apiece, and then 2 buildings that are two units apiece, so totaling 12 units altogether. I don't think that Lexington is ready for a high rise. I think this would be a very responsible use of this particular property. What else can I tell you? I've looked at it thoroughly. I've spent probably the last 12 weeks on it, perhaps, maybe not quite, maybe 9 weeks, something like that on it. And I also would like to urge council to consider my offer for the property, which is actually where I'm prepared to pay the tax appraised value of the property for the property, which is somewhere around $120,000. And I'd be happy to pay that upon getting the correct approvals for the number of units that I have in mind here. But mostly, I'm interested in any questions you may have or possible ideas yourselves.
How does this design work with the topography of the land? It's very sloped. What is your plan for that?
Interesting question. I've designed the project so that all of the southern part of the project, of all the units, the southern part is pointed towards the south, is towards the sun. In other words, the back of these units are the south. And that is what is absolutely the most important thing in design, is actually light, most likely, and space. And this works very well for light because south is in the direction of the uphill side of this property. So that's why it's actually a very good site for development. I'm envisioning this as a retirement community. And I've looked at it from retirement from both religious groups, but most likely it would actually be just a market approach to retirement. I'm envisioning that the smaller units here would be probably around $320,000 a piece. And the larger units would be somewhere around $420,000 a piece. And I think I could sell them for that. And I would start with probably the first building I would start with is the lower one that you see that is on the street. And streets would come up to the right and to the left. Those two spots there would be where the streets would be coming up. And another thing about this, it would be a condominium structure. So all of these units would be facing actually private roads. And I'm envisioning actually a very high quality development, probably a bit better than around the neighborhood. I like the neighborhood, but I'm envisioning this to be a bit pricier because I think that the location warrants it. The location has some minuses. One is that it's kind of a commercial location, and it also has the problem of the hospital right near it. The hospital is a positive, but it's also a negative, especially the helicopter, the sound of the helicopter, et cetera. And I'm actually seeing these units to be built super ecologically, double stud walls for all the perimeter, and built to what's called a passive standard, which is a very high standard of insulation that I would insist upon. And I would build this myself with help, but I would be the builder.
Where
What else can I tell you?
Where would the parking be?
Parking is actually, each one of the units would have their own garage. If you take a look, I have designed it so that there's actually garages for each, double car garages for each of the units. I feel that it's absolutely necessary to have a double car garage. The competition here would be the house is built currently right now at built by Horton over at the
Ponds.
on the ponds.
Mhm.
They're the competition. I believe that I could beat them. I believe I could do a better product.
And the other question that, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were still,
Pardon?
I didn't mean to cut you off if you're still speaking, but I did have another.
No,
question.
I'm fine. Thank you.
How did you arrive at 12 units as being, in your view, the appropriate amount of units for this parcel?
I looked at the spaces here and the outside spaces that are necessary for people to live in a retirement community. I don't believe that people can be piled one on top of another. I don't think that's Lexington, to be honest. I think this would really suit the town, elegant and crafted. I'm thinking in terms of design, it would be a mission styling, which is, I don't know how much you guys know about the history of design, but I think it would be appropriate for Lexington.
Very good.
How
Other
do you
questions?
restrict people to being a retiree that lives there? And how do you restrict people from not buying 3 units and renting them out for $3,000 a month? Or how do you envision that? Or people buying them and not living there because it's a second or a third home?
There's no restricting such things legally.
Right.
So really, quite honestly, it would be restricted by the money involved. And, these would not be inexpensive. You cannot rent a property out that you bought for, for $300,000+ or $400,000 plus and make ends meet. I know all the numbers. It's just not possible. So it would be restricted mostly by money. That's what would restrict it. I mean, it's a market economy we live in, as we all know.
So but I was just clarifying that they would not be retirees. For example, 60 West properties, anyone can live there.
Correct.
Chamberlain Loop and Weatherburn, anyone can live there.
Correct.
This
Same would be true here.
Right. Okay, just to clarify, I don't want to have it be
I
misreported that it would be a retirement community.
I don't envision the licensing that is needed for a retirement community with nursing facility and all of that and all the money involved, et cetera. I'm envisioning this as something that an empty nester could buy, because the smaller units here would have 2 bedrooms each and 2 baths each. The larger ones would be three bedrooms and also have a study. So I've done the prints and all of that. So I urge the city to approve this sort of sale.
Very good.
Did your proposal, did it have a 1-year study period in it? Was that part of it?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think that I have a study period here. I don't recall exactly the contractual details, but it's not a year or anything like that.
Plus 20.
I'm envisioning actually being able to build this coming fall. That's what I'm looking at, which is, maybe it's a little bit optimistic, but you never know.
one more question, sir. What would the range of square footage be on, say, the smaller
I'll
to the
tell
larger?
you exactly. The smaller units would be 1,500 square feet. The larger units would be 2,000 feet,
Okay. Thanks.
so. And the larger units would be 2-floor, the smaller units would be single floor.
Very good. Well, Mr. Sales, greatly appreciate you presenting here. Council members have additional questions, welcome those, but a terrific design and your past experiences speak for themselves of the terrific work that you do as a builder and developer of sorts. So
Great.
look forward to city staff following up with you regarding your proposal.
Marvelous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, we have no public hearings tonight, but the next item is consideration of minutes, and those were included in your packet. Unless there's an objection, we can approve those minutes as presented. Hearing no objection, they are approved. Next item, citizens' remarks and comments. Let me check. I think, is this Miss Johnson? Did you want to speak to council this evening? Terrific. Don Johnson, come on down. And is there anyone else who plans to speak to council this evening? I'll give you another opportunity, but just wanted to check just in case. John, thanks for being with us. If you can give those to Kate, yeah. If you could state your name.
Dawn Mays Johnson. I'm a city resident. First of all, I'd like to say good evening. And just to make a point, when I come here, it seems like I'm coming here with the gripe all the time. And I don't like that. But it seems like that I come here because I cannot get a resolution with the department heads. And so this is where I am today. After the big snowstorm on February 7th, I experienced a major sewage spill on the property. And I called the Public Works, and that was around 11 o'clock that morning. And they responded, they got there a little after 12. It seems that my two neighbors above me, someone was using industrial strength paper towels as toilet paper. And that's what caused the mass explosion on my property. So I'm going to start there. When Public Works responded, as I said, the raw sewage and the weather didn't cooperate with each other, so everything kept freezing up. It eventually flooded my entire driveway, and it became a sheet of fecal matter. When it thawed out with those couple of warm days, it stunk real bad. And Public Works assured me that they would be back that following Monday to take care of the sewage overfill. Well, they came on Tuesday. So on Tuesday afternoon, when they left and had spread the lime down, I waited, and it seemed that the sewage would stop running, overfilling, because it was still coming up out off the top of the sewer. So I telephoned Public Works and spoke to the office. When I didn't speak to her, I left a message with the office manager to ask the gentleman to come back because they left mounds of industrial strength paper towels filled with sewage on the property. Council, I shouldn't have to live like this. And today is March 5th, and those same nasty industrial strength paper towels filled with sewage and actual pieces of fecal matter remained in my driveway. That's unacceptable. No one should have to live like that. And as a citizen of Lexington, I expect more from our government. It's really frustrating. And when I'm told by Public Works, we're coming, and like I said, it's March 5th, and it's still there. I contacted the city manager. Oh, excuse me. I contacted other people, and it seemed like I wasn't going to get a resolution there either. I'm really tired of this. I don't know what it is. I know I don't always express myself appropriately because I get frustrated, and I apologize. I shouldn't have to live like this, and I shouldn't have to come to a council meeting to get the basic necessity of service that we all pay for. It's apparent there's an issue going on with the sewer lines, and I don't care who says otherwise, it's still happening. I have other people's sewage. All the lines connect on my property. It'd be something different if it's my sewage that I have to smell, step over to get to my front door, find another route to my front door. I shouldn't have to live like that. I've got neighbor sewage on my property. It has become a nuisance. And today I'm asking City Council to please resolve this issue because I don't want to have to take a step further. And that's what we are prepared to do to protect our property and our investment, our interests here. I'm the only one of 4 siblings that live here, but we grew up here. And I'm not mean to look at you per se, but I'm just saying, I don't think that you would like to have to walk over pieces of fecal matter. I don't have the proper equipment to pick that stuff up, and I'm not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I've contacted health department as to how it should have been cleaned up. And what was described to me, no way met what Public Works did.
Mhm.
And Public Works has ignored me. And I have been there and I've asked politely. I've shown them the pictures and I presented the pictures here that you all can look at.
Yep.
Anybody that wants to walk through and step over fecal matter, it's uncalled for. It really is. So I asked this evening to please resolve it.
Yeah. Ms. Johnson, greatly appreciate you coming and making us aware of this. And I'm sorry to hear the experience that you had with our Public Works Department. That is not common, the experience. And so raising it to our level, I greatly appreciate. We will refer this as a council to our city manager to explore, and unless you want to speak to it tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Only 2 comments. First, I am sorry. And second, I will be investigating this personally tomorrow morning, first thing.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us and for raising this issue. And you're right. It's not anything we should, any of us would want to live with. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to council on any particular topic? Seeing none, I will close the citizens' remarks and comments and go into our consent agenda and ask for council's consideration.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and I'll ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Ms. Strawn?
Aye.
Mr. Betts? Mr. Ziegler?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Alexander? Thank you all very much. And for students, consent agenda is items that are not to be discussed. For the most part, understood, everyone is in support or not, and it just comes up as an item and voted on. So that's why there was no discussion on that particular item. If council members had a concern about the Military Officers Association of America street closure, they could ask for it to be removed and have it discussed and dealt with individually. FYI. Next item on the agenda, boards and commissions. And I'll ask for Mr. Driscoll to give us an update on the Airport Feasibility Committee, which met earlier this week.
Happy to do so. The steering committee for the Rockbridge Airport feasibility study held its second meeting on Wednesday, March 4th. The steering committee members include Brandy Flint from Rockbridge, Jay Lewis, Boyd Brown, Buster Lewis, Christina Ramsey from Buena Vista, and myself representing Lexington. In addition, this meeting, Doug Harwood and Ed Smith were able to attend. It was a virtual meeting. There are 4 steering committee meetings in total. This is the second. Each one focuses on a different aspect of the feasibility study. This one was on forecasting demand. The third meeting is on facility needs and cost estimates, and the fourth is a final presentation. The focus of this session was a presentation by the consultant David Leach of Delta Airport Consultants on forecasting demand, with a review of the broader aviation landscape in Virginia, and then a more detailed view of the Rockbridge area aviation landscape, as it's called professionally, and then potential origin and destination demand. The presentation, which I'm pleased to share, included maps showing the distribution of both commercial and aviation airports in Virginia. There are 9 commercial airports and 56 general aviation airports. This is something I learned about. The main difference is that a commercial airport is where we show up with a ticket and get on a scheduled airline. A general aviation airport are typically used by the business community, public services, medical flights, the government, recreation flying, flight training, agriculture, and private planes. So the feasibility study for Rockbridge assumes a general aviation airport. It's not a commercial one. The forecasting demand questions that the consultant is engaged in is how will this airport potentially be used? Which aircraft would be based at the airport? And which ones will be transient? Those are the ones that fly in versus the ones that live there. And then as well as potential demand for aviation and related business services. They presented socioeconomic data for Rockbridge and compared it to other communities with similar profiles that had general aviation airports at the scale that they're considering. And also 2 university towns that have general aviation airports, Grinnell in Iowa and Colgate University in Vermont. So those are like the benchmarks to compare the potential demand here. They're going to continue to interview local businesses, educational institutions, WNL, VMI, SVU, tourism service providers, and others to try to understand the potential demand. The presentations by the consultant are very clear and useful easy to read and look at, and I'm happy to share those with members of council or anyone else who's interested.
Terrific. Thank you, sir. Thank you for representing the city on that committee. Next item on the agenda is Blue Ridge Resource Authority. Mr. Smith.
Blue Ridge Resource Authority, we got a presentation from Robinson, Farmer and Cox, doing their annual audit, and no red flags, full steam ahead. Everything's looking just fine as far as they're concerned. Working on the CIP and the budget for next year. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Main Street, Lexington, Mr. Smith.
I think you heard everything you needed to hear earlier.
Fair enough. Planning Commission, Ms. Strong.
Sure. Planning Commission met last Thursday, and we continue to work on the 5-year review of the comprehensive plan, and we were focusing on the housing chapter. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Regional Tourism Board, Mr. Betts.
Report.
Thank you, sir. Rockbridge Area Recreation Organization.
Our board met yesterday. We will look to approve our budget in April. We've completed signups for our spring baseball and softball. We have 242 kids signed up for baseball and 168 kids signed up for softball. We'll eventually launch our adult softball league again this summer, but during the springtime, we're primarily playing baseball and softball. Of course, lacrosse also happens on all the community's fields, but that's done by Lax. An exciting time. The Diamonds are in good shape. All the localities are putting the good dirt down. They're all very good about doing that for our infields. So we're pretty excited to play ball. Thanks.
Terrific. Any questions for Mr. Ziegler? Any discussion at the board level of the County Rec Center and its progress or status?
I think there's general excitement from our board of directors. I think our board of directors prefers to stay out of the politics of it. But I think our board of directors does believe in the need for additional gym space. And any gym space that RARO has access to will be used by the community. And so it's thumbs up. I do believe that at least one RARO board member may speak publicly on March 23rd, which is perfectly fine. And I think, again, there's no reason why we would not be in support of it. But I think we're just staying out of the politics of the whole thing. But anything to advance recreation, indoor or outdoor, in Rockbridge County, Lexington, and Buena Vista is a positive for us.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
I don't know whether this would be political or administrative, but has the board talked about if the rec center moves forward, how folks will be charged or assessed related to programs or just attending the rec center?
Our board has not. There is that committee that was thought up of 5 or 6 months ago, essentially, pre the November election, if you remember. And so that we look forward to that being discussed and seeing if RARO has a role in that. RARO has a number of agreements already in place that are signed by each locality that talks about managing space and capital assets, which we do not do. And so this would be a completely new agreement if we were to be managing a capital asset. We know we're responsible for office space, but RARO and the other localities don't have a cost sharing mechanism. We don't charge Buena Vista or Rockbridge County for field maintenance at Lexington's fields. We don't charge them anything, Rockbridge County or Buena Vista for using a Lexington-owned gym. And so that's all spelled out in all of our agreements. And so if Rockbridge County builds 2 gyms, that would be the same as 2 baseball diamonds, just indoor versus outdoor, facility. So we're not sure our role officially because our bylaws don't really spell out that we would have a role in managing an asset owned by Rockbridge County. So we'd love a seat at the table, but no one has called that meeting to order yet.
Because even on the revenue side, how much would people that want to do tournaments from outside the area, what would the charges be like on that, or things of that nature?
Great point, because again, a lot of folks are saying this facility will bring in revenue and help the debt on it by having tournaments. Of course, the basketball courts as designed are small. As designed, have about 3 rows of bleachers. So when you do host tournaments, if you've been at facilities that host tournaments throughout the East Coast, essentially, you usually need a little bit of area for teams and spectators and so on. And so if that is the thought, RARO would love to maybe be involved to understand how that might actually work.
Is that other committee, the Recreation Committee, is there any date for a meeting yet? Initial meeting?
No.
Very good. Thank you for the update and the insights for all the folks that are here this evening. Again, if sports are your thing, RARO is driven by volunteers and volunteer coaches. And I know RARO would welcome participation from students or local residents who may be interested in participating. Very rewarding and can make some great connections and lifelong relationships. I still keep in touch with the Washington Lee student who was my son's football coach back in the day, and have fond memories of the Washington Lee coaches of my basketball team. So great connectivity and tremendous community organization in Raro. Threshold, Ms. Alexander.
Thank you. Threshold met last Wednesday, and the homeowner helper program is off to a pretty good start. It was very encouraging to find out that we have received 4 applications for the homeowner helper program, which are now under review by staff. The next meeting, we should have that application data that will be gleaned from the application. We'll get that from staff so that we can review the data for scoring purposes. We had discussion of the Housing Commission goals for 26-27, including the update of the housing chapter of the comp plan, which we will be sharing with the Planning Commission. And key points were made in the objectives and strategies section of the housing chapter. We addressed each strategy to update with the following discussion points. Possibly revisit the occupancy standards of accessory dwelling units, continue to incorporate energy efficiency principles where possible, and consider this option for the homeowner helper program to incorporate that. Also fit the current strategy of educating the public about heating systems, window repair, storm windows, etc., by also incorporating that into the homeowner helper program. Encourage communication with landlords regarding the underutilized second floor of downtown buildings for residential spaces, in concert with promoting the fire suppression program. In addition to sponsoring homeowner helper, start working on the principles of the land bank program to address blighted properties, tax delinquent properties, and continue to take a vital role in facilitating seminars for our stakeholders, such as asking Virginia Housing to speak on various topics based on the needs of this community. And also plan creative events to have roundtable type discussions with our stakeholders and the rest of the community on a more regular basis. And incorporate any new zoning regulations that will be decided in the current or future General Assembly sessions, as well as our own zoning that we might propose. The next meeting will be held on Wednesday, March 25th, and we'll meet from 4 to 5:30. We're staying longer that day so that we can review applications, continue discussing goals, and the review of our housing study. And that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions from council?
For the homeowner helper program for this round, is the deadline next week? Is there?
The deadline is
In May.
in May, March 1st.
Oh, it passed. Okay.
And it's possible that if we need to, we could extend it, but it depends on the number of applications that we get during this first round. So we're
Gotten 4. Yeah, that's good.
And then I did have a comment just on the ADU revisiting the occupancy standards. It's my understanding that not a lot of ADUs have been built since we put the ordinance into place. So one idea is to think about why that's taking place, and maybe taking a look back at that and seeing if we can incentivize some more ADUs to be built by broadening the base by which basically broadening the base of renters, and then also essentially opening it up more may incentivize people to build. It's thought.
Thank you, Mr. Betts. Suffice to say, look to our planning director. The March 1st is a due date, not a deadline, perhaps. So if there are people that may want to apply, applications would still be received. Very good. Thank you for that affirmation. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to add something to the tourism report, if that's appropriate.
Sure.
Lime Kiln Season Announce Party, which is a great tourism driver for the region. Lime Kiln Theater is announcing their concert season on Wednesday, March 18th, and a number of season passes will be available. More season passes go online the next day, and single concert tickets will go online on the 20th. So I wanted to make sure that got out there.
Yeah,
because
and
it,
if there's anything else in the future you kind of think of, glad to send
Sure.
it my way and
Yeah,
I'll
just-
put it
just-
in the report.
popped in right.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Lots of fun things that will be popping here in the spring, lots of activities. Thank you all for those reports. For my report, I have a couple of items. Number one, congratulations to the Washington Lee women's basketball team for a 28-0 so far season. They are ODAC champions and hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament this weekend. They play at 8 o'clock in Whole Camp. Is that the name of the gym? Whatever the name of the gym is, at Washington Lee campus. So if you don't have other plans, come out and support the Washington Lee women's basketball team. Next, wanted to say thank you to staff for their nimbleness. I'm not sure why I chose that word, but we've had a lot of items arise in need of attention in addition to the regular work plan and or work plan priorities. And I'm grateful for the grace under fire with which the work has been accomplished, especially with the weather and all the other variables. This past Monday, I was invited to the regional tourism meeting at the Virginia Horse Center. The tourism team presented information entitled From Visit to Visibility, Understanding Media Tours and Journalist Expectations. Debbie Geiger, who is a consultant with Geiger and Associates and has been in a business for a little over 40 years, gave a presentation talking about tourism and hospitality businesses. Many of the people in our community that represent the hotels and restaurants were invited to attend and participated. There was a lot of great conversation and a lot of terrific information explaining the whole process. One of the things I found fascinating, I think I have the number correct, $369,000. If you look at the Southern Living magazine, that's how much a one-page ad costs. $369,000. Needless to say, when the travel writers come for a much lesser expense, and we get Lexington and our community, the greater Lexington area, gets a spread in the Southern Living or Travel and Leisure, Garden and Gun, any of those. It's a co-opt effort and great marketing that we could never afford to purchase on our own. So interesting information, and Debbie Geiger's a good partner for our tourism department. And along the lines of tourism, just remind everyone, we almost made it through a meeting without mentioning VA 250, but we're going to celebrate. There are lots of summer plans that Eric Wilson and the VA 250 team are working on. Should be fun for all. But again, another opportunity to engage this spring and summer and throughout the year. And lastly, had a Planning District Commission, the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission Executive Committee had a meeting yesterday. Two things that topics that we addressed. Number one, PDC currently has a Social Security replacement pension plan. It's old and expensive, and we are in the process of modifying from that plan to VRS. The employees there have never been on VRS, and so that has been perceived as an obstacle to hiring. And we should, I think, by July, be able to transition, and employees will not be negatively impacted. The other was the PDC funding has been eliminated by the House for the state of Virginia. And so encourage people, citizens, staff, and others to contact our legislators and continue to lobby them for things that are important to our community, which include the Planning District Commission to put that back in. It's a little bit of a political pawn, much like we've experienced with other members of our community, and always important to reach out to our legislators and let them know where we stand and to advocate for the things that are important to our community. So I encourage you to tune in to VML and then also to reach out to our legislators to support the Planning District Commission funding to continue on. And with that, conclude my report, other than to say thank you to all of those of you who give prepared reports and pass them along to the clerk so that she doesn't have to try and assemble what you stated. So as you have those reports, pass them along to Kate. And with that, I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes, sir.
On the WNL women's basketball, are they still in the regular season?
No.
Oh, okay.
They are ODAC champions, so they won the their conference and are in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Nice to, when it's concluded, invite them to a council meeting, and that's a big accomplishment getting through a regular season undefeated.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel compelled to begin again apologizing to Miss Mays Johnson, who's, I believe she's left, but her account was horrible and does not meet our standards. So again, I reiterate that I'll be looking into that tomorrow first thing and sending some emails this evening. Citizens are always welcome to come and bring their concerns to city council, and I encourage that. I don't discourage that. But if there's something like this situation, which could have been, I could have become involved earlier, I would ask our residents to let me know. And if you're not satisfied with my answer, then by all means come to city council. But again, I just I feel horrible about the situation, and we'll get a report back to council once the situation's been attended to. I believe I'm correct if I'll look to Arnie Glazer, but with the homeowner helper program, I think the threshold commission had discussed there's $250,000 that's been allocated for that program. If we receive from the 4 applications funding requests that are approved that still allow some of that allowance left, we will take those applications. So I think to the mayor's point, March 1st was a application due date, but not a deadline. I think that's right. Okay. And then tomorrow, the draft budget will come out to city council. And I know some of you look forward to that every year. And I don't want to steal my own thunder for tomorrow. Perhaps I'll just give you an amuse-bouche for tomorrow. The total investment planned for next year is $58 million. And that will be $38 million, almost $39 million of operating expenses and almost $20 million of capital. So it is a significant budget for a municipality our size. Putting it in a different perspective, that is about $7,800 of investment and expenditure per person in Lexington, which includes our VMI cadets and WNL students. So almost $7,800 of investment next year. So if you are concerned about how we do that and you want to learn more, please get involved in the budget process. We are very open and transparent. Council has its first work session on that draft budget next Tuesday at 5:30, I believe at 539 Nelson. And that is open to the public. And that information, the draft budget, will be out on our website. And also Kate Beard will send it to your inbox if you are subscribed to our weekly electronic newsletter with a hyperlink to where that will be located on our website. She's just learning that for the first time, I see. But it will be there. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just for the benefit of everybody here, how does this year's budget compare to last year's budget in terms of dollar figures?
I'll turn to Jen if you have an answer off the top of your cuff. It's a difficult question, so she's bouncing it to me. The capital program is similarly sized in the FY26 budget that we're still in. We're building the $10 million DSS building, $7 million renovation, $5 million of projects on the White Street, which are up for bid presently. So the capital program in FY26 that we're in and next year are both large and substantial for our community. In terms of the operating budget, it is an increase, largely because of healthcare and wages and other inflationary pressures. That's going to be the most difficult aspect of the budget.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom, do you mind, are you able to just update the general public and us on anything that the city has done recently in regards to the golf course? I know that project is being managed by Rockbridge County. The main portion of the golf course is in Rockbridge County, but it is impacting Woods Creek. And we've had some citizens come and speak to us at our council meetings. Do you mind just giving a quick overview of that?
Happy to. In this chamber here, City of Lexington officials attended a meeting that was hosted by Rockbridge County last Monday. We appreciate very much being included in that meeting. That meeting involved the golf course partnership, the contractors, the Rockbridge County water and stormwater management team, Spencer Suter, Leslie Ayers from the Board of Supervisors was there. Lexington had our Public Works Director, Arnie Glazer, our Planning Director, Steve Polk, our Building Official, and myself were there. It was really an all-hands-on meeting to assess what had happened in late February, which was a unauthorized discharge of untreated stormwater. And that was, I believe, the fourth or fifth similar type event. And so since that meeting, and again, I want to thank the county for involving us. It's not our project to manage, but even though a portion of the golf course is in Lexington, we're letting one government entity manage the entirety of it, which makes more sense. Our team, including Mr. Glazer and Mr. Polk, have gone out to the golf course site on 3 separate occasions. We're going weekly on Tuesdays and Thursdays to monitor progress. We'll offer explanations. It still is their regulatory responsibility and authority to manage the golf course, but we are pleased to see progress on the strawing and seeding of the disturbed land, which will stabilize the soil and reduce erosion and sediment runoff. Too early to declare victory or anything like that, but I think we're seeing a stronger commitment from the contractor. We appreciate, again, the county's inclusion of Lexington in that process. And I appreciate the residents who have come to us to voice their concerns. I've tried to communicate with them what we're doing and what we're not going to do in response, but what we still might do if conditions don't improve.
Thank you.
I just pile on, there was a concern about locating straw, which it seems like we're an agricultural area. And upon further discussion, learned that the equipment used to spread the straw only uses square bales. And there are plenty of round bales, but those aren't satisfactory for the equipment that's being utilized. So with collaboration with folks within our local government, found bales on the Eastern Shore, and I think also in Kentucky, and then also located one clever farmer who can take a round bale and make it square. So again, with collaboration and support, things can be accomplished, and proud of the folks managing it to hold the Lexington Golf and Country Club team, or Tribrook Country Club, accountable, and help find solutions to move forward. Any other questions for the city manager?
Well, just to follow up on David's question, which is the focus now has been during this revamping construction. Is anyone reevaluating any assumptions that were made on the final design of the golf course in terms of its contribution to the long-term health of Woods Creek?
I am not aware of any discussions of that nature. In the meeting that we were included in, the design team as well as the construction team opined that the redesign of the golf course will have improved water quality benefits to the Woods Creek Trail. I can't speak to them, and I can't speak to what is exactly meant by that, but I think that was part of the redesign.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda, city attorney. Another Mr. Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I assume everyone is aware, but the charter amendments were approved by the Senate last week. So they did changed the provision with regard to the city manager and the city attorney, as I believe everyone is aware. But that revised version has now been passed by both houses of the General Assembly. We did receive notice, and Jen got it as well, of an additional opioid settlement that'll be forthcoming. I didn't see anything that indicated the amount of money that would be coming to Lexington. All of the defendants with whom settlements are being made now are fairly small drug companies or independent pharmacies. So I think all the numbers that would flow through are going to be fairly small, but there could be some action item forthcoming to approve that settlement. And then one other item that has come up recently with the fire suppression system program. We structured the program to incentivize through having the EDA pay for the connection fee and also for the 0% interest loan, as those were the incentives for people to put the sprinkler systems in the downtown area. We have one applicant who's inquired about alternative forms of security. However, we had structured it as putting a deed of trust on property, and we've had an applicant inquire about other types of security, letters of credit, things like that. And so we may come forward with an amendment to that plan just to create more flexibility. It's frankly something we didn't foresee as we were putting the program together. So we may come forward with an amendment to the program to create more flexibility, to allow somebody to pay cash up front or to set some other type of security besides a deed of trust. So it could happen at the next meeting or in the next couple of weeks. Happy to answer any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of the city attorney? Very good. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is new business. We addressed item 15.1 and item 15.2, resolution 2026-08. Call on Arnie Glazer, the planning director. Welcome, Arnie.
Good evening, everyone. You are asked to consider a resolution to initiate a zoning text amendment. The state code requires zoning text amendments to be either initiated by resolution by council or by motion by planning commission. And then our zoning ordinance specifically requires the council to direct planning commission to do a text amendment. So that's why we're in front of you asking for a resolution for a text amendment. And this would be for townhouses. There's a roadblock in the townhouse use and design standards in the sense that it requires townhouses to be on a public street or accessed by a public street. And that's just limiting for properties because we're not on a true gridded street pattern where we have alleys and whatnot. So this would just help with the use of the townhouses across the city. Happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you, Arnie. Members of council have any questions?
Just a comment that
Yes,
I think
sir.
it's great that we're looking at ways that we can potentially add more housing and get creative with our zoning.
Yes. Always good to have additional inventory. Would ask for council's thoughtful consideration.
I move to approve resolution 2026-08 to initiate amendment of the city's zoning ordinance pertaining to the deletion of the public street frontage requirements for townhouses.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote. Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Betts. Ms. Strawn.
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll.
Aye.
Ms. Alexander.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all very much. For the next item on our agenda, we have a closed session. We will excuse everyone, and you're welcome to hang around when we reconvene after our time together in closed session, as Ms. Alexander will detail in just a moment. I don't plan we'll have any action other than adjournment, but so you're welcome to stay or and wait till we reconvene or head on out for the rest of your evening. And with that, I'll ask Ms. Alexander to read us in.
I move that Lexington City Council convene in closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A8 for the purpose of consultation with the city attorney regarding specific legal matters related to the Moores Creek Reservoir requiring the provision of legal advice by the city attorney.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the second, roll call vote, Ms. Strawn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Sigler.
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll.
Aye.
Mr. Matt.
Aye.
Mayor Friedman.
His eye when he comes back.
He's right behind you. He's talking to a former council member.
It's not rather loud.
I had a quick chat with Jordan after we spoke. You talked to him.
Yeah.
Is the homeowner helper on that pipeline? Is,
I mean, are we funding it with a $250,000?
I know.